Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Calling her a female Indiana Jones just isn't a fair comparison, although I've heard people say that before and I don't like it. She's more of a combination of Indiana Jones and James Bond, really. A strong mixture of action and historical intrigue. You'll be surprised to learn, I'm sure, that I've never played the original Tomb Raider games. I mean, I know of them, and I know what they're about, but I never played them. In fact, the only Tomb Raider games I played were the recent trilogy starting in 2013, and those included Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. My thoughts on them, well, the 2013 Tomb Raider was very entertaining and enjoyable. I really liked it. The character writing was a little lackluster and the action a tad repetitive, but I still enjoyed it. Rise of the Tomb Raider was decent enough as a follow-up, but it asked more questions than it supplied answers, and while the combat was still fun, it wasn't quite as strong to me. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was just awful. It butchered Lara's character, making her more like a petulant child than a young action hero, and half of her decisions seemed more villainous than altruistic. And I share all this information with you because, yeah, Lara's in Dead by Daylight now, but not the original Lara, but this Lara, the 2013 Lara, the one that I've been talking about. In fact, I mean that quite literally because the lore behind Lara here is ripped directly from the 2013 game. Forget the sequel games, this is all from the 2013 game. Now, if you've played the 2013 game, you know the premise and story already, but if you haven't, I'll quickly fill you in. Lara Croft is the daughter of Lord Richard Croft, an archaeologist and aristocrat who has a strained relationship with his daughter. Her father died on one of his many expeditions and took him far away from home and from her. Seeing her father as a dreamer and eccentric who died chasing imaginary fantasies, she longed to study real history. Thanks to her college friend Samantha Nishimura, Lara was able to branch out, have a social life, and explore life in a brand new way. But Samantha also got her interested in the legend of Yamatai, a story about an ancient kingdom on an island near Japan where an ancient Japanese queen named Himiko ruled. But Yamatai disappeared somehow, and Lara is determined to find it. Launching an expedition with her father's friend Roth and a team of friends and associates, Lara and Sam take off for Yamatai, and they discover it, but they learn that Yamatai isn't all it seems. The island is surrounded by destructive typhoons, constantly destroying and shipwrecking boats, planes, and any other craft that dares to come near the island, and Lara is stranded along with her team, but she learns that they aren't alone on this island. A cult called the Solari, led by a man named Matthias, believe that the spirit of Himiko is still on Yamatai and has them trapped there, using the storms to hold them on the island. They believe that Samantha, a direct descendant of Himiko, is the key to their release. Lara has to save Sam and get her crew off the island, as well as somehow put the spirit of Himiko to rest at last, all the while learning that maybe her father wasn't as crazy as she always thought, and perhaps there is a whole world of fantasies and discoveries yet to be unearthed. Now, her DVD lore follows the game up to a certain point. There's a moment in the game, and many of you will remember it if you've played it, where Sam is tied to a pyre and is set to be used in a fire ritual where Himiko will choose her as her successor. Lara launches an arrow to stop the ritual, but is unable to prevent it.
Games will show us the truth. Himiko, you are the first and the last. Speak to us now. You killed our brother! Now I'm gonna kill you! This is for Vladimir, outsider! Enough! Dmitri, Nikolai! Bring her to me. Every creature in nature will turn and fight when its very survival is at stake. So don't think I don't understand you, girl. I've just been doing this a lot longer. Ready yourself, brothers! Our queen is about to speak! Speak to us, Himiko!
Sam!
Speak to us through the flame!
So sorry. Just look at me. Look at me, okay?
She's the one. Soon, my brothers, we will Take her to the throne room. Your fight is over, creature.
Himiko chooses Sam, and the cult leads her away to their fortress while Lara is taken away to be killed. However, Lara breaks free and leaps into a river of blood to escape the cult.
I can't see the body. I don't think she survived the moment. Let's get down there. Come on.
In the game, at this point, the player must lead Lara to the fortress to save Sam. In the DBD lore, limbs rise up from the blood and drag her down, down, down into the entity's realm. And that's the lore. Well, it works, I guess. I mean, I feel bad for Sam, of course, and the team. I mean, with Lara gone halfway through the game, they're all effed, right, essentially. But, hey, that's how they wanted to do it. And I can't really say the lore is great or bad because, well, it's not DBD's lore. They're just taking from something else. How can I praise the DBD writers when they weren't responsible for this? They didn't even take a unique new direction on the lore. They followed everything point for point until one scene where they went, and then the entity took her. I mean, couldn't they have had this take place after the first game? Maybe in her quest for answers, she starts to fall for the entity. Maybe she discovers some tomes or treasures or secrets left by the entity. She starts to pursue it, and that's what leads her to being caught. I mean, think about it for a second. At the end of the game, Lara acknowledges that she's not going home because now she realizes that there's a lot of secrets in the world that she needs to uncover. What if you had it where after this she starts diving into the occult? It separates her from her friends. Like, she starts getting more obsessed. Like, they all worry about her. Sam worries about her. Jonah worries about her. They all worry about her, but she is obsessed with finding the secrets to this one tome or this one crypt or this one secret, and that leads her to being caught by the entity. You could have done that. I think that would have been very creative, but no, I mean, my guess is that they couldn't get permission to do that, or they were just being lazy. Either one. Not sure which, but that's the lore. So, yeah, again, I don't want to say it's bad lore because it's not their lore. It's from the game, so it's not like it's bad or anything, but if I were to... It's literally if I'm a teacher, right? If I'm a teacher and I'm looking at this and Dead by Daylight walks up, okay, here's our submitted lore for this project, you're literally plagiarizing someone else. You're literally copying someone else's work and then adding your name at the end of it. But it's still good, right? Yeah, it's good because it's their work, not yours. Do your own work, you know what I mean? But then again, Lara isn't their own work. Lara is someone else's character, so how can I truly be mad at them? You know, it's... I'm getting off topic. All right, let's move on to the perks. That's what you all care about. You don't care about the lore. Lara comes in with 3 unique perks: Finesse, Hardened, and Specialist. Finesse is a pretty simple perk. While you are healthy, you fast vault 20% faster, performing a special animation when you do it. However, the perk goes on cooldown for 30 seconds after use, and again, it can only be used while you're healthy. It's honestly fine as far as vault perks go, and if combined with other vault build perks, it can be very useful, but it's not game-breaking, and it's not super OP. It's just there. You know, it's okay. Some people have talked about how it's too OP. I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that, especially since it can only be used when you're healthy, if you get injured by any means, you can't use the perk, so I don't know. I don't really think it's broken or anything, but, you know, to each their own. Hardened. Now, this perk is kind of unique, and I wasn't sure how useful it would be until I actually tried it out. When you unlock a chest or cleanse a totem, this perk activates for the remainder of the trial. And you have to cleanse 2, okay? You got to cleanse 2, not just 1. I made that mistake too. I went in, cleansed a totem, and I thought, all right, I got it. Nope, you got to do it twice. Okay. You no longer scream for any reason. No, you don't. For no reason will you scream. Instead, when you would normally scream, you reveal the aura of the killer for 5 seconds. Against killers like the Doctor, this perk is incredibly useful. It's a great defensive perk that turns what would be normally a killer's boon into your own, and all it takes is simply opening a chest or cleansing a totem twice. Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I really like this perk. It helps out a whole lot. And here's the funny thing about it. It'll even happen if you get hit by the killer. Like, you know how if you get hit or down by the killer, you scream? You won't. You'll just see their aura, which I know that sounds a little weird, but I think that's pretty creative. Anyway, Specialist. Moving on to the third perk, Specialist. This perk is, in my opinion, not that useful unless you have the right build. When you unlock or rummage through a chest, you gain a token for a maximum of 6. When you succeed at a great skill check on a generator, you spend all your tokens and permanently reduce the repair charges needed for that generator by 4 charges per token. The problem with this perk is that to get value from it, you need to find and unlock a lot of chests. A lot of chests just to get enough tokens to make the ability worth it. So if you want to make this perk work, if you want to make Specialist work for you, you need a good build. And what I would recommend is have Specialist, have Appraisal, Moment of Glory, and Plunderer's Instinct. Plunderer's Instinct will help you find chests a lot easier. You'll be able to see their auras very easily, so finding chests will be absolutely goated. Appraisal is Elodie Rakoto's perk. We talked about it. It'll allow you to rummage a second time through a chest, and that second time you rummage will count towards a token. So you can get 2 tokens out of 1 chest. Yeah, pretty helpful. Pretty helpful. I would take advantage of that. Plus, Moment of Glory is another perk a lot like Specialist. This one we're going to talk about later. We're going to talk about that with the next survivor when we get into the Dracula or Castlevania chapter. But what this perk does is essentially, if you rummage through a chest twice, which Appraisal will let you do, it will give you a little protection, as it were. What will happen is if you take damage at any point while this perk is active, if you wait 60 seconds and avoid getting hit again, you will automatically heal back to full health. So if you want to take full advantage of looking through chests twice, bring Moment of Glory. If you don't want to bring Moment of Glory, bring Hardened, because by searching through the chest twice, you'll load up Hardened all the way through. Really, Specialist is a great perk if you have it built in the right way. Otherwise, it's not going to give you what you really need, because without Appraisal going with it and without Plunderer's Instinct, it's hard to get the tokens necessary in order to make good use out of it. So Specialist is one of those that you need to have a build with it. But if you do have that build with it, it can be a great gen rushing boon. And that about does it for Lara Croft. We've talked about her lore, what there is, and we've talked about her perks, what they are. And what can I say about Lara Croft being here? All right, I'm going to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, but I also mean it in the kindest way possible. I don't like it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Lara Croft, and I think she works here. The perks they gave her work, and she's got a great design, but then again, it is the design from the game, which is a good design anyway, so take it for what it's worth. My issue is, much like my feeling on the Resident Evil characters, this doesn't feel like a world where Lara Croft really belongs, you know what I mean? Like, Lara Croft is a adventure-style, mystery-solving game, not a horror-style game. This doesn't fit the same, in my opinion. It's not even the same. I would sooner see Resident Evil in here than Lara Croft, because in Resident Evil, there is this sense of being overwhelmed. With Lara Croft, you're a one-man or one-woman army, as it were. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to be here when she should be able to, you know, kick ass and take names even easier than Leon and Jill do in their own games. Because Leon and Jill have to struggle a little bit. But here's my thing. I don't mind it. You just got to be creative with it. And my problem is, I don't think the lore here was that creative when they could have been more creative. Now, am I saying they were lazy? Not necessarily. Maybe they had limitations. Maybe the license owners wouldn't let them do more with it. But if that isn't the case, yeah, that was lazy. Anyway, that does it for Lara Croft's chapter. But now, we're moving on to one of my favorite chapters in Dead by Daylight. One that came out with a killer I absolutely love and mained for a long time. Oh boy, it's time to talk about the character that I love from the franchise I don't, Dracula. Oh, I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. But that is for next time in the fog. Take care.